Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We have got another shelf-stable meal video. I've got 3 super easy and delicious shelf-stable emergency meals, and let's go ahead and get started. So for our first staple shelf-stable meal, we're going to be using this hamburger helper, the cheeseburger macaroni one. But if you've noticed recently on the back of the hamburger helper packages, they have different options of protein that you can use. So this one has hot dogs, but as you know, hot dogs aren't shelf stable. So we're gonna use veiny sausages. So I'm gonna do 2 because technically this is for a family of 4. And so I feel like 2 of these will be perfect for that. And on the back of the hamburger helper, it also calls for milk and water. So remember, if you're in an emergency situation and you have no electricity, no running water, make sure you have water stocked so you can have it for cooking. Since we are fine right now and I'm just doing this for inspiration, I'll just use water for my sink, but y'all already know we have a bunch of water stocked in case of an emergency. And then for the milk, I'm gonna use the milk I have because I don't want to open these options, but you can use evaporated milk if you have it stocked for recipes, or you can use dry milk. There's 3 packages in here. This is the only one I have, so I don't want to open it right now until I get some more stocked. I do want to try it, but I'm going to wait and make sure that I have more stocked before I open one up, just to try it and test it in a recipe and whatnot. So just for today's video, I'm just going to use what I have in the fridge. But in an emergency situation, we do have milk options. And we also have some almond milk. They have almond milk. They have coconut milk. They've got regular milk, 2%. They even have lactose-free milk. I finally found some of it at Walmart, but I hadn't picked it up yet. But they have a bunch of milk options. So make sure you have milk options stocked for recipes to cook for in case of an emergency. So I'm going to cut up our veiny sausages and then we'll get those in and get everything cooking up. Okay, I got those cut up. We're gonna add in a little bit of butter. I talked about in my last emergency meal video that I keep butter out on my counter, so I'm totally comfortable with using it in a emergency situation because to me it's shelf stable. But if you are not comfortable with doing that, they make store-bought clarified butter, which is called ghee. And you can just go and pick some of that up and have it. You can even use lard if you're okay with using lard. That is just totally up to you. Or oil, of course. But I'm fine with using it, so we're going to use a little bit of butter. I'm going to let this melt, and then we are going to add in our veiny sausages, get some color on both sides, and then we will start adding in our hamburger helper mix. So while that is cooking up, I wanted to hop on and remind you guys that if you're in an emergency situation and you have no electricity, make sure you have options to cook. Because if not, you're just gonna be eating cereal or cold veggies. Open the can and eat them out of the can cold. So think of those options. There's camping stoves. If you have a grill, make sure you have a grill. Or if you have a grill, make sure you keep propane or charcoal or like whatever it takes to work that grill. If you have a fire pit, make sure you have those options. So if you don't have electricity, then you're still able to cook for your family or for yourself, whatever. And then make sure you have pots and pans that work with what you're cooking on. Like the pan that I have right now, I wouldn't recommend it on a grill or anything like that, because the handles aren't going to hold up the heat from the grill, because you're going to get a lot more heat in that sense. So if you have cast iron, definitely use cast iron in those situations, because cast iron is going to hold up. You can get cast iron in all different sizes and all different shapes. So I highly recommend using cast iron, keeping cast iron, making sure you have those options to cook and all that stuff. So, because if you have stock but you don't have any way to cook it, then you're kind of crap out of luck, So I just wanted to hop on and remind you guys to make sure you think outside the box, and make sure you, like I talked about in the last video, it's like a full circle. So make sure you have that full circle. If you have food, make sure you have a way of cooking the food and all that stuff. So, are you wanting some attention? Let's see if this is ready. Next up, we are doing some pizza pasta. The inspiration for this one came when I went to the Dollar Tree and did a Dollar Tree shelf stable video. I'll have that video linked down below, but I picked up those pepperoni sticks, the black olives, the pizza sauce, the Alfredo sauce. I am using the ready pasta this time, but you can also use raw pasta and cook it. And then I'm using some Parmesan cheese to top on top, because it's shelf stable until it is opened, and I always keep that stuff on hand. And honestly, that's something that I would be comfortable with leaving out if I didn't have electricity. So here I'm just cutting up the black olives and cutting up the pepperonis. Those pepperoni sticks worked really, really good in this situation. So I'm just going to take and mix everything together in a bowl. I've got the pasta there. I just broke it up. Added in the pepperonis, the black olives, the pizza sauce. So ideally what you see here is going to feed 2 people. I only used half of that jar of Alfredo, but if I needed to feed 4, I would just double the amount of pasta and maybe add the full jar of Alfredo. Other than that, what you're seeing here definitely feeds 2. So I have talked about before how if you're in an emergency situation and you don't have an oven, that if you put this in a cast iron pan with a lid, you can turn a grill. You can use your grill as an oven, and you can also use a fire pit. I will have that link down below, so that way y'all have that. It's like a whole science where it just tells you like what temperature and how many charcoal pieces to put on top and the bottom and all that stuff. But I'll have that link down below. But since we're not in an emergency situation here, I just baked this in the oven for about 25 minutes. I topped it with that Parmesan cheese, and this was really good. Winston really liked it. I feel like it was such a good shelf-stable option. For our last meal on this video, I went with this creamy pesto nor pasta side. This was really good. So this is one of those ones that's like all-in-one seasoning, flavor. It had really, really good flavor. Highly recommend keeping those nor pasta and rice mixes on hand, because all you have to do is add your protein and you're good to go. So the back of it calls for butter, water, and milk. So just make sure you have your milk options, shelf-stable milk options. We always keep butter on the counter, so we're totally fine with that. And then if you don't have any running water, just make sure you have jugs of water for cooking. And then I used the other half of that Alfredo sauce jar just to use it up. But if I was doing this for a family of 4, I would use a full can of Alfredo, 2 of the Knorr pasta sides, and probably 2 cans of chicken. But for this one, it just fed 2, and it was the perfect amount of everything. So this one was really easy, kind of one of those like dump and go. I just followed the directions on the back of that Knorr's bag, added the ingredients in, bring that to a boil, added the pasta and seasoning in, and then once the pasta got almost done, I added in the Alfredo and I added in the canned chicken. So I had to hop on here and tell you guys that this is so good. I think this is my favorite meal out of this video. This is one of the ones that I would make all the time. It wouldn't just be an emergency shelf-stable meal. This is really good. I can barely taste the canned chicken, which if you know, we aren't fans of canned chicken. And I said a while back that if we start stocking up on canned chicken, then that means you need to start prepping. I've bought 2 cans so far. And it's actually, in this way, it's really good. So I highly recommend this meal. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it's got a really good flavor. From the pesto, all that seasoning packet, that pasta packet has really good flavor from all the seasonings, the pesto that's in there. And then I added in that half a jar of Alfredo sauce, and it made it super creamy. And it is really good. Really good. I'm probably gonna sit here and eat this whole bowl. So for me, this meal is probably 1 person. But I would double it up for more. But I am starving. I haven't ate anything today. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. 3 super easy emergency meal, shelf-stable meal ideas. I've really been enjoying these videos, even for myself, going into my prepper pantry and regular pantry, just kind of seeing what I have and making meals out of it. It's really fun, and it gives me inspiration and you guys inspiration. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.